You've probably heard of mindfulness practices. They seem to be all the rage these days and are almost certain to come up in any conversation about relieving stress or living a healthier life. In fact, some of the biggest companies in the world are building mindfulness programs that cater to their employees, and even some preschool and kindergarten classes are hoping their students, young as they may be, can benefit from mindfulness practices. So, while it is a bit of a buzzword, what exactly is mindfulness in the first place?
In a way, I think it's this enormous topic that gets boiled down to a few catchphrases. And here I am, I'm about to boil it down to a few catchphrases. But I think for me, it's about being a full human being. It's about having the courage to actually notice and be with one's full experience of pain and joy and possibility.
That's Marc Lesser, a mindfulness expert and author who has recently written a new book called 7 Practices of a Mindful Leader, Lessons from Google and a Zen Monastery Kitchen.
Most of us tend to be led around by being on autopilot, being caught in this trap of success and failure. And we can't ignore autopilot, and we can't ignore success and failure. But it's the practice of cultivating curiosity, kindness, awareness, presence, right in the midst of success and failure, right in the midst of dealing with the incredible changes that we're all experiencing globally and technologically, and right in the midst of one of the things I'm fond of saying, that it's the dirty little secret of the business world is that it's all human beings, and that the more humanness we can bring into the way that we work together. This is now, I think companies like Google and others are getting that in order to collaborate, in order to solve problems, in order to communicate, we need to actually allow for the human experience in a very effective way.
As it says right in the title, Lesser's book draws heavily on his own career experiences, including a period of time during which he ran the kitchen in a monastery. If ever there were a place where it would be easy to avoid overwhelming pressure, surely a monastery would be that place. Even there, Lesser says things could be very stressful.
Even though it was in a Zen tradition, it was quite pressured, high-powered. There was high expectations, and it just felt so obvious that there were some tremendous benefits to integrating these awareness practices, self-awareness practices, communication skills, these kind of body practices around centering, around being much more fully with one's experience, seemed to be good for the results that we were producing in that kitchen. And I decided this was what I wanted to do with my work life, and I went right from there to get an MBA degree at New York University, and I started a couple different businesses, and it was about, a little more than 10 years ago now that I found myself being asked to create a mindfulness and emotional intelligence program at Google.
In his book, Lesser focuses on 7 business-ready ideas that are simple to hear and understand, but can be difficult to truly implement in a fast-paced workplace.
I love these 7 practices. They're both very practical and poetic, right? Love the work, do the work, don't be an expert, connect to your pain, connect to the pain of others, depend on others, and then lastly, keep making it simpler. And to me, I find any one of these practices, I think, can be life-changing, and there's something about the combination, and they're both aspirational. These practices are aspirational in nature, and they're also very practical, and I think we, as human beings, are aspirational, practical creatures.
So take 2 of those practices, connect to your pain and connect to the pain of others. On the surface, sure, no problem. Everybody has bad days. But if you go a little deeper, Lesser says really mulling those ideas over can really help us be more empathetic and collaborative people.
So much of what I see in the workplace is people creating this incredible compartmentalization and attempting to just see each other for the roles that they play and attempting to leave out the humanness. And I think there's a real need and hunger for that human connection. Now, it's not about turning our workplaces into therapy sessions, but it is about recognizing and caring for one another. I think a core skill as a leader or as a team member is just this sense of caring about others as people, in addition to caring about the roles that they play, caring about them as human beings.
Sometimes, Lesser says, thinking about these topics can lead to important realizations about your own place in the world. A common issue cited around the country is the feeling of being overworked or not having a good work-life balance. Lesser says this can often be addressed just by reorganizing your mindset.
One thing people can do is to, when you're not at work, to really not be at work and to have the practice and discipline. I know for certain jobs this can be really, really difficult, but for most people it's something much more possible even than people might realize. I often find myself when I'm coaching executives or coaching leaders that when you leave work to actually create some physical reminders, develop that habit of I'm now done. And maybe as you approach your home or your apartment, turn off the gadgets and prepare yourself to enter this different space. I find this particularly important for people coming home to families and young children or taking care of parents. So important to focus on being able to make that transition in a way that is skillful.
Lesser says mindfulness isn't a one-time thing, but rather it's a journey. In order to stay on top of your own awareness, it helps to have daily practices that you regularly run through.
In terms of my daily meditation practice, I like to keep it really simple. It's really to me, it's paying attention to the breath, paying attention to the body again and again. And then in my daily life, part of it is a lot of what I find myself teaching is helping people to be better listeners, both listening to yourself, but also really listening and being curious about other people, other perspectives. It's so easy to cast judgment and blame and to not really hear. And I think part of the underlying importance and effectiveness of this kind of contemplative practices, these mindfulness practices, is that it enables us to be less reactive and more curious about what other people are thinking, what others' values and viewpoints are, which means that we can be better at finding solutions.
And if you're nervous that you're doing mindfulness wrong or that you can't afford another daily routine, Lesser says those are exactly the kind of concerns that just doing certain practices can help alleviate.
What I recommend is just start. There are tons of all kinds of meditation and mindfulness groups all across the country. There's online apps, and ideally find some other people to practice with, or even I sometimes encourage people to think of a daily meditation practice as a little bit like brushing your teeth. Somehow, very few of us ever question, do I have the time to brush my teeth? And even if it's for a few minutes every day, just that sense of stopping and hitting the reset button, taking a few breaths of just noticing what's in your own consciousness.
For more from Marc Lesser, his book, 7 Practices of a Mindful Leader, is available now. For more information on all of our guests, visit our site, viewpointsonline.net. You can find an archive of past programs there and on iTunes and Stitcher. I'm Gary Price.
Coming up, using Harry Potter to overcome PTSD and depression when Viewpoints returns.
Many seniors are not receiving an important health evaluation during routine checkups with their doctors, according to the Alzheimer's Association 2019 Alzheimer's Disease Facts and Figures report. New data shows that only half of seniors are being assessed for cognitive decline in the primary care setting, and only 1 in 7 are receiving regular assessments. Alzheimer's Association Chief Program Officer Joanne Pike says the report highlights a missed opportunity for seniors and their physicians.
These findings are in sharp contrast to the majority of seniors who receive other routine assessments like cholesterol, diabetes, vision, and hearing. The Alzheimer's Association encourages seniors to be more proactive in discussing memory-related concerns so that changes warranting further attention can be addressed in a timely manner.
Pike says that while there is currently no cure for Alzheimer's, early detection and diagnosis of the disease offers many important benefits. Learn more about the warning signs of Alzheimer's dementia at alz.org.
What are you going to do with your old car? You can try selling it, you could junk it, or you can donate it to Heritage for the Blind. Your car will be towed away for free and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-835-1478. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats. It doesn't matter if your vehicle runs or not. It will be towed away for free, and you'll be supporting those that need help. Heritage for the Blind is a nonprofit organization that helps the visually impaired live fuller lives. Call right now to donate your car, and as a special thank you, you'll receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to over 50 locations. Call Heritage for the Blind right now. Call 1-800-835-1478. Donating is easy, and your vehicle is towed away for free. Plus, you'll get a free vacation voucher for donating. Call now, 1-800-835-1478. That's 1-800-835-1478.
And that's Viewpoints for this week. Viewpoints is a production of Media Tracks Communications. You can follow us on Twitter and Facebook to learn about upcoming shows and find a library of past programs on iTunes. Plus, you'll always find podcasts of our segments and information about our guests at viewpointsonline.net. Join us again next week for your public affairs magazine, Viewpoints.